What is up, G Hive? I am back and better than ever. I know it's been a super long time. I've been super busy. Just life and everything got the best of me, but I'm back. So we're gonna jump right into it. Today I'm gonna show you how I got this super easy cut crease look. I used all drugstore products. And yeah, if you want to see how I got this look, keep watching. And don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. And make sure you follow me on all my other social medias. I'll have that link below. So I hope you enjoy. Thanks. All right, y'all, so we're getting right into it. So I'm going to start with this hydrating water gel from Walgreens and use that as my moisturizer. Like I said, this all drugstore products. I think I maybe paid like $12 for this moisturizer. And then I'm going to follow up with the e.l.f. poreless face primer and put that all over my face as well. So now I'm taking my Wet n Wild Photo Focus powder in banana and the fluffy brush and just setting all that moisturizer and primer into my face. So I always start my face with my brows. Today I'm going to be using my De Courcy Beauty eyebrow brush to fill them in. I'm going to spray this with my setting spray to make the bristles wet because I will be using eyeshadow for my brows. Most of the pomades that I have are too dark for my blonde hair, so I'm going into my Morphe and Jaclyn Hill Armed and Gorgeous palette, and I'm going to be using the shade Prowl, which is a reddish brown color, and I think it goes really well with my blonde hair. So I start by carving out the bottom of my brow. I start at the front, a little before where my eyebrow starts, and then I bring that all the way out to the tail. I keep my eyebrows brushed up for this part, but then once I'm done with the bottom, I brush them downward so that I can get the perfect shape for the top of my brow. So now that my brows are the shape that I would like, I start to fill them in from the back, working my way to the front. And once I have it all filled in towards the front, I take the opposite end of my brush and brush the product forward so that it gives it a gradient effect. So now I'm going to take this flat brush that I got from Walgreens and my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the color Yellow Corrector with a little bit of my foundation, and I'm going to use that to clean up my brows. I put a little bit of my foundation on there because this concealer is super light and I do not want to be out here looking pasty. So now I'm going to take the concealer and bring it across the shape of my eyebrow. Then I'm going to drag it down onto my eyelid so that it has a super seamless finish. So this is how I set my base for my eyeshadow. I'm going to take that same concealer and put it all over my eyelid. Then I'm going to follow up with a damp beauty blender so that there's no harsh lines. And after that, I'm going to go in with a beauty blender covered in my setting powder to make sure there's no creasing and that my eyeshadow will stay in place. So now that all is blended out, I'm going into my Armed and Gorgeous palette and I'm going to be using Agent and putting that all over my crease. And y'all, don't be judging how my palette looks. I've had this forever and yeah, you know, it just be like that sometimes. So now we're going to add some depth to that crease. Same palette, the color I'm using is Smooth Criminal, and we're just going to bring that over all in the same spots just to darken it up a little bit. The time has finally come to cut that crease, so I'm taking my LA Girl Pro Concealer, same color, yellow corrector, and I put a little bit on my eyelid, and then I do the little blink thing that was all over social media just to get that perfect like placement for the cut crease. And I just drag it across my eyelid and fill it in, and then yeah, that's it. So now I'm going into my Juvia's Place, the Warrior palette, and I'm going to be using the shade Ahosi for my eyelid. And it's just this dull tan, kind of white, but not really white color. And I think it goes super cute with this eyeshadow look. So yeah, I'm just using a packing brush and putting that all over my lids. So now I'm going to be using my e.l.f. liquid liner and doing my little wing. I've shied away from doing wings for so long, but I do them every now and then, and I feel like it's the perfect little pop to the look. I don't do a huge wing, just enough so you can see that I have a wing. And yeah, I just bring the product across my eyelid, arch it up, meet it at the little point, and that's it. It's really simple. And then you just fill it in. So now that we're done with the eyes, I'm going to finish my brows. I start by brushing the hairs of my brows downward, so that way if there are any hairs sticking up, they don't get caught in my concealer. And I'm taking the same color that I used for under my brows and putting it on top of my brows. I added a bit of my foundation just so it doesn't look too light and give that halo effect. But we're just going to drag that along the shape of the brow and then blend it upwards. This is where I first messed up. I was feeling the music too much, lost control of my hand, and got a little bit of concealer on my brow, but it ain't nothing. It's a quick fix. All you gotta do, fill that thing in with your powder or your whatever you use, and look at that. Brand good as new. Here is mess up number 2, y'all. So I'm using my beauty blender to blend out the concealer because my dog ate my blending brush. So as you can see, it dragged some of the concealer onto my brow, but still a quick fix, quick fill in, and look at that, good as new, still popping, still on fleek, and what? Stay Full Coverage Foundation in the shade 330, and I'm going to put that all over my face. Then I'm going to blend that out with my Milani foundation brush, following up with a wet beauty blender just to make sure that there are no harsh lines and everything is blended into my neck. Now we're going to continue to build on this base. I'm taking my LA Girl Pro Concealer, the same shade I've been using all day, and I'm going to highlight the high points of my face. So the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, my chin, my forehead, and under my eyes. The way that I do my under eye concealer, I do a little bit towards my nose and then a little bit towards the end of my eyelid. It gives my face a really nice lift. I actually found this hack on TikTok and I've been obsessed ever since. So now I'm going in with my Real Techniques Beauty Blender. This is a skinnier version of the Beauty Blender, and I'm using that just to blend in all of the places I put my concealer. And I'm going to follow up with my other Beauty Blender that I use for my foundation after this, just to give it a nice smooth finish, and so it doesn't have me looking too pasty, too white, no flashback, none of that crazy stuff. This is such a small step, but it's so important to me. I take a makeup wipe and wipe off all of the product on my lips, and it makes my lips pop. It makes them look normal again, and it just makes me feel like a baddie. It makes me feel pretty. It makes me have the extra boost to want to finish my makeup and just be popping. This part's pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going in with another beauty blender and my setting powder and just applying that setting powder over all the places where I put concealer. And I don't let this sit long. I let it sit for about a minute because I found that if I let it sit for any longer, I tend to have a lot of flashback, and that is not something I want. Now I'm going to take that same dome brush and I'm going to use some of the powder that's left on it, and I'm going to place that in all the places that there is no setting powder, just so that if they're wet from foundation or whatever it may be, it dries them, and when I put on my other powders, it doesn't catch and make it look all murky and muddy and nasty. So now I'm just using that same brush, wiping all the powder off, and yeah, we're going to get right into it after this. Y'all, I don't even like to get on here and cuss, but this is the part where I fucked up. I had a perfect wing, and because there was so much powder moving around, the liner got to be a little ashy looking. You can see it on my face how mad I am. The liner started to look ashy, so I was like, let me just go over a little bit. Did too much, pulled the wing out too far. It just looked like a straight line, didn't even look like a wing anymore. But I'm going in with my concealer and that flat brush, and we're going to clean it up. We're going to get it together. Now that we got that liner fixed, it's time for my favorite part, contour. So I'm taking this Hair Store eyeshadow brush and my Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer in the shade Wet Shady Beaches, just dragging that all along my nose because I need it to be snatched. And then I'm going to use a fluffy brush and that same contour color on my cheeks, my forehead, my chin. Now it's time for blush. I honestly couldn't tell you what brands I use for my blush. I just got them from the Hair Store. I start with a peach color, then I follow up with a dark pink, and then I go in with a lighter pink. I do that on my cheeks, my nose, and I use the same kind of brush that I used for my contour. So for highlight, I'm using my Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder in the color Blossom Petal, and I use my finger for my nose, and then for my cheeks I just use an angle brush, and it comes out super soft and like no harsh lines at all. So now I'm going to jump back into that Morphe palette and take the color Agent with a super small eyeshadow brush and put that all over my waterline just to give it an extra little pop. Now we're gonna prep my lashes. I'm taking an eyelash curler and just curling my eyelashes for a few seconds just to give them a little oomph. And then I'm going to go in with my 2 mascaras. The first one I use is by Victoria's Secret. It's a long brush and I start with that. And then I go in with a Wet n Wild mascara that has a shorter brush. So it makes sure all my hairs are covered and that I have like a decent length. So now I'm going in with my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Matte Finishing Spray and I'm spraying that all over. Then I follow up with a damp beauty blender and pat it all over my face. Shout out to Jackie Aina for this hack, and it really sets your face so quick and it makes it so seamless. So I did my lashes and my lips off camera. My lashes are Dreamy by Whiplash, will be tagged below. And then my lips, I just used the color that I use for my eyebrows to line. And then I just used a simple clear gloss for on top. So this is the finished look. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, I kept in all the times I messed up just to show you guys that it's not always sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes you mess up, but you know, you can still be a baddie in the end. It's all right. But yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I took a lot of time making it. So yeah, if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to comment. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys later.